to make sure.
What's the point of doing that?
Right.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So that'll make driving a lot more interesting and fun, right?
And
otherwise, I'm going to get on a plane and drive to Phoenix and rent a car.
No.
But that's what I'm saying. So you want me to go through New Mexico?
Well,
we are going to go through New Mexico.
Yeah, if you're going to drive.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to say, of course, as you probably know, in order to get to New Mexico from here, you've got to drive through West Texas. Okay.
That's kind of the devil's triangle of America. You may never come out of there.
That is a long way to go.
So that's when you say to your family, if you don't ever hear from us again, know that our...
But New Mexico and Arizona are both not only they're very beautiful, they have all kinds of, it's not just all desert. Okay, New Mexico, in fact, I think New Mexico may have, it's either New Mexico or Arizona, I forget, but one of them has the most variety in terms of terrain in the country.
Well, we're not dissing West Texas in the sense.
No.
It is true that every part of the U.S. that I've ever been in has, quote, its own beauty.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So,
West Texas,
it's just that with West Texas, you get a lot more of it. Because it never
That's
ends.
A very nice way of saying it.
I have driven Amarillo a couple of times. So I've done that much, but I've never driven further than that. Well, drove to Colorado.
You will. This is what you'll say when you get to New Mexico after driving through West Texas. You will say, "I was in West Texas for a month, 1 week." and listen, my parents used to live in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I went to Bible college in Dallas. So I've made that.
Oh, okay.
Many times. And we love our Texas listeners. Don't get me wrong. But surely, if they're honest, they would agree.
So anyway, we're gonna drive to the Grand Canyon.
Are you going to rent a car?
No, I don't know. Probably take our own car. Why? You think we should rent a car?
If you rent a car and you've had enough driving after 2 weeks, you can fly home.
I got.
You take your own car.
Well, we're thinking
you're obligated.
That's not a bad idea. That's pretty smart.
We're thinking 12 days, something like that, because we want to go to. I want to see the Hoover Dam. In addition to Grand Canyon. Now, Hoover Dam, how far is that from Grand Canyon?
I don't know,
2
but
hours?
those distances out there you may want to think what Fred's saying, because when you get done, you may say, I don't want to drive back. Let's fly. That's smart.
My brother, I talked to my brother about this, and he said, if you're going to go that far, you got to go to Utah.
Like
see Moab.
Yeah.
He said.
That's what I'm saying. That 12 days, you will eat. 12 days is probably not enough to.
Well, we don't have any other than my job here. We don't have any, and the yard growing out of control. we don't have any.
Pay someone.
And God created sons.
We waited
come
for this
mow your
lawn.
You're going to need more than 12 days if you want to do.
All right, 14. That's all I can be going. I get homesick then.
Okay. But you probably
then
fly back.
Then we're going to go to the Telluride. Want to go there? Have you ever seen pictures of Telluride, Colorado? It's absolutely stunning. Yeah. You're saying they need to pack on another week now?
I just don't think you understand how far that this.
That's why I'm talking to you about it. You're a well-traveled man.
Well, also, if you're coming out of Colorado, the drive from Denver to Kansas City.
Right. I've done that before. No,
400 miles.
Right.
Wheat fields.
Right. Yeah. Kansas never ends either. Right there.
That's true.
I
never want to eat a slice of bread again.
Anyway, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I love traveling. I love traveling anyway, but I love seeing our great country because we're really blessed with a lot of beautiful scenery.
When we lived on the West Coast in Vancouver, we drove because my wife's parents are in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. So we drove a number of times. And
from where to where?
Vancouver to Mississippi.
To Mississippi?
And then on down to Florida. Because we usually went to Clearwater, Florida every year, vacation.
My dad, let me just say this. My dad, before his health took a turn for the worst, and before he remarried, he did this himself. He wanted to see all family members and wanted to make one last trip around the country. Drove from Florida up to New England, back down to his house in Florida, change clothes, whatever he did. Then across the country, east to west, coming through Mississippi, Dallas, went to San Diego.
Stopped here to see you.
Oh, yeah. All the way up the West Coast, all the way across the top of the country, seeing sights along the way, back to New England, and then back down to Florida by himself. Guy was a total
Marine.
Road warrior. He had his
Once a Marine, always a
45 with him.
Just in case.
So,
he did that by himself?
And I don't like making the commute to work. 18 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, did that by himself.
That's
he was 88.
States.
He was 88 years old. No,
wow.
85 when he did that.
Wow. That's remarkable.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think it's a sickness, personally. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I used to have some friends who they were from Mississippi, is where they grew up, but they moved out to L.A. and they used to make that drive. That I-10, I-40, I guess you would drive.
Either way.
But anyway, I've never been to Utah, so I've never been to Grand Canyon or.
You got to do it. Mm-hmm. That'll be a great trip.
I want to see the Hoover Dam. You know why? Because it was on the original movie Vacation. Chevy Chase. Remember that movie?
Yes.
Wasn't that what it's called? No, was it called that?
Yeah. Vacation.
But wasn't that what it's called? The Griswold family?
National Lampoon's Vacation.
Okay, when they traveled out from Chicago out to Las Vegas or whatever.
I forget.
Hoover Dam. You don't remember that?
Oh yeah, no, I remember it.
Anyways, I'm not recommending that movie for family viewing because I don't remember what I watched.
Like 30 years.
It may be some bad language in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just remember they stopped at the Hoover Dam, and that was.
Well, they were going to Wally World.
Yeah. All right. So much for
back to reality.
Anyway, so that's something to look forward to for us next year. Want to see the Grand Canyon. All right, Frederick. Bring to us the news.
Yes, the John Durham report that came out on Monday afternoon is 300 pages long. So don't be surprised. There are still people who are going through this, and we're getting a better picture that Durham painted for us of this. I think it's right to call it a scandal within the FBI. I don't know.
It was a Grand Canyon of lies.
Yes. But listen to this. The FBI, this is according to the Durham report, the FBI didn't open any inquiry into the alleged Hillary Clinton campaign election interference plan, even after the CIA director briefed then President Barack Obama and then Vice President Joe Biden about this. What happened was the FBI received Russian intelligence that the Clinton campaign had this plan to cook up some scandal involving Donald Trump and Russian interference. They had that information. The scheme, which they dubbed the Clinton plan, showed that the Clinton campaign had approved a campaign plan to stir up the scandal against Trump by tying him to Putin and the Russians' hacking of the Democratic National Committee. So they had all of this information. The CIA director at the time, John Brennan. So you've got to get a picture in your mind. From the President of the United States at the time, Barack Obama, Vice President at the time, Biden, intelligence leaders, intelligence community leaders, the FBI, they all were aware this was a scam. All right? But Hillary Clinton had friends in high places.
Right.
And that's why
Who wanted her to be president.
And that's why last night, when the former Attorney General Bill Barr, who was the one who ordered Dunham, the special prosecutor, to investigate the origins of the Russian hoax.
Durham, right?
Durham, yes. Ordered Durham to investigate this. He was on Fox last night and basically called how the FBI behaved in this an abomination. So I want you to listen to a little bit of what Bill Barr had to say last night. Cut number 1. Number 3.
What this has shown is that the source, and there are really two sources and drivers of this whole ugly episode, and that is Hillary Clinton's campaign, who launched a smear campaign that was based on getting Russian sources to spread false information about Donald Trump and peddle it to the press and to the government, the FBI. And both the press and the FBI abandoned any semblance of professionalism and took up the cause with a vengeance. I think the real story here from the FBI's perspective is what an abomination this was, this so-called investigation.
That's something else coming from William Barr, because wasn't he was either the FBI director or the AG under George W. Bush. You remember that?
His first round.
His first round. And then he served as Attorney General under Trump.
Under Trump's last years.
So what I'm saying is this fellow here, commenting right there, has a world of experience in politics and in law.
And he doesn't particularly like Donald Trump, personally.
Yeah.
He's been critical of Trump on certain issues.
I heard him say last night on this same. I didn't hear the whole thing, but he said, "I don't have antipathy." Is that what you call it?
Like hostility.
In other words, I don't have anything personally against Donald Trump. What he was saying, he doesn't think he's fit to be president again.
Right.
Yeah. But he was saying that's not a personal bias. That's just my political observation. However, what he said, the bottom line of what he said here was, to reconfirm what you just said, Fred, that this was a horrible episode for the FBI in particular, but it was a collusion. This is what the Durham report found after 4 years.
Yeah.
We all thought, are we going to live to see this
Right.
report ever released? I mean, he doubled up on Mueller, right? In terms of how long it took. Of course, he got very little cooperation
Right.
Durham along the way, and I don't think he had the resources available to him exactly that Mueller did.
Mueller did.
I don't know that for sure, but basically it was a collusion. And do we have the gut feel?
I think Steve's got that for his segment.
Well, we'll hear that next. Do you have it ready? Okay. Do you think, Steve, are we pulling the rug out from Steve's hour here?
Yes.
All right.
But we can play it again with Steve. Maybe Steve's not even listening. We can play it and then.
Steve's probably, shopping for shirts online right now. He's big into plaid shirt. I mean, the
Paisley
shirts.
Whatever you want to do.
Well, I think it's appropriate to play this this time, and we could give Steve something else. Steve did, to his credit, Steve Paisley Jordahl, he found this clip for us.
Yeah.
What you're about to hear is Greg Gutfeld of Fox News, and it's one of those things, we couldn't say it better ourselves.
Yeah.
All right? Because the collusion that took place here, we haven't even talked about Adam Schiff in Congress.
We will.
Steve just texted me and said, play it.
Okay, so we have Steve's permission?
Yeah.
We did give him credit for finding this.
Yes.
Okay, so we credit Steve for finding this. Okay, so what you're about to hear, you wonder, why would the Hillary Clinton campaign, i.e. the Democrats, and the liberal mainstream media, and even what's supposed to be an apolitical organization, the FBI, why would they all try to take out, in this case, Donald Trump, prior to the election and then after the election, decap him in his administration? Why would they do this? Well, Greg Gutfeld said it best. Go ahead.
You have people saying that the country will not survive Trump. Then your moral duty is to cheat, right? And you should cheat. Like if somebody is telling everybody that this person is a modern day Hitler, it is your duty to do whatever is possible to stop him. In fact, if you actually play by the rules, you're a traitor, right? So they created a devil that was so big and so vast, it made all actions permissible. And it made every institution, as the judge was saying, subject to suspicion, right? So you can bury stories, you can create hoaxes, you can fund smears. It can go anywhere because this person must be stopped. It's Hitler, an existential threat. And so what happens is now we're left and none of it's true. And so we had a half a decade hoax that infected and undermined every institution because we were made to believe this person is evil. And then people people make fun of people who are skeptical about an election. Why shouldn't they be skeptical about an election when the DOJ and the FBI and the mainstream media and the tech companies and the Chamber of Commerce are all in on the same thing? Why shouldn't the election be called into question, right? Shouldn't a hero try to fix the election, right? Shouldn't a hero do that? If you're up against Hitler, that's where we ended up. And you can't go and condemn people for so-called conspiracy theories when you were going around telling everybody this guy was worse than Hitler.
That's bingo right there.
That's one of the best summaries of what's happened since really 2015 when Trump announced, but certainly 2016 up to today, 7 years later, like he said, more than a half a decade. Folks, let me just say this. And I don't know what's going to happen in 2024. If Donald Trump is reelected as president, it is going to be because of this. And by this, I mean people finding out how crooked the federal government, how corrupt it acted, even under Donald Trump, but in conjunction with the mainstream media and big tech, corporate America, all these that jumped on board because they are all in on the progressive vision for this country, joining the one world cabal, and Hillary Clinton was supposed to usher in that era. And who is Donald Trump to have stopped that? If Donald Trump gets reelected in 2024, that's going to be the reason why.
I'll tell you another thing why these people do what they did here that Greg Gutfeld laid out. And that they would do this, they certainly did it with Trump. They were starting to do it with Bush when he was in the White House. And they will do it with any future, if it's Trump or DeSantis or whoever it is on the Republican side next year, they'll do it with them too. They're already starting to do it. They've already done it with former President Trump. We've just evidenced that and seen that. But they'll do it with any Republican now who's going to run for national office. And that is, they're going to say that they're evil, they're wicked, they're the devil, they're Satan, even though ironically these people don't even believe in these things.
Right.
I'm speaking metaphorically. But the reason these folks do this collusion took place, they don't believe that lying is immoral.
That's right.
Okay? They don't believe that dishonesty is a sin. Bearing false witness doesn't matter to them.
That's right.
It doesn't matter to them. Why? Because it's just what Greg Gutfeld said. The ends justifies the means. And so if we, whatever thing we have to make up and push and promote, it's almost if they had a cabal. They were all in it together. They certainly were ideologically. By all, I mean the mainstream media, the Hillary Clinton campaign, and now we learn the FBI, and big social media.
Yes.
Too, don't forget them.
Yep.
Cover up for the Hunter Biden laptop store, which we got some quotes from Elon Musk on that coming up later. But these people, they don't, and as I said yesterday, listen, I understand Republicans are human too. They can lie to your face too. And Republicans down through history have done that and been caught. The difference is, I would say, a majority of people on the Republican side would call out dishonesty and untruthfulness and say, when it happens, it is wrong. It is it is immoral, and it is, in the Christian vernacular, it's sinful. Thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not lie, right? For these people, they don't believe in God. They don't believe there are any consequences for their actions. So all they need to do whatever they can to get their way. And if it means lying, cheating, and stealing against Donald Trump or any other Republican, then they're justified in their minds. We'll be back momentarily.
God made his design for marriage absolutely clear. July 6th through the 8th at the Cadence Bank Arena and Conference Center in Tupelo, Mississippi, it's the Marriage Family Life Conference 2023. Strengthen your marriage and your family with Abraham Hamilton III, Dr. Kathy Cook, Miki Addison, and many more. The Youth Apologetics track is back as well. The Marriage Family Life Conference 2023 for His glory alone. Register today at marriagefamilylife.net.
And my father, your great-grandfather, fought in World War II.
Really?
He was a gunner on the big ship out in the Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
Your great-grandmother did her part, too.
Was she on a ship?
Oh, no. She stayed back home. She and a lot of her friends worked really hard in a factory because the men had gone off to war.
Ooh.
And they held scrap metal drives to help in the war effort. The folks back home were heroes, too.
Here at the American Family Association, we consider you the heroes back home. As you fulfill your responsibility of caring for your family day to day, your partnership with us is crucial as we fight the enemies of freedom in America. Thank you for your commitment to the American Family Association.
Grandpa, what's a scrap metal drive?
Let's get some cookies, and I'll tell you all about it.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. Stand by for news and commentary next.
My goal as a teacher is to impart knowledge and then be able then for them to take it and turn it into wisdom. As we teach, I think, okay, 5 years down the road, how will the material that I am teaching them really affect their lives and their careers?
Hi, Todd Starnes here. Truett offers biblically centered degree programs. Check out truett.edu/Starnes. One of our great listeners in Houston sent me an insane story the other day. Just before the start of a regional high school softball game, the announcer declared over the public address system,